When you're a small little guy like me, you have to trust that your owners will take care of the things that are important, like putting the lid on the cage you call home, so Whiskers doesn't make you his dinner. I can trust that they will always remember the lid. And sure enough, each time they put me back in the cage, they never forget. I'm learning that trust is really important, especially if I'm going to have a heart after God, a heart that trusts Him. By believing that when He says He is with us, it's true. David had a heart after God, and he trusted Him, even when it didn't make sense. When David was a young boy, he was looking after his dad's sheep in the fields. Others may not have paid much attention to David at the time, but God saw him and had an amazing plan for David's life. God sent Samuel to tell David he would eventually become king and lead the people of Israel. You would think David would have gotten to be the king right away, but no. Instead, there were lots of days that turned into years, where David had to do many other things that didn't seem right for someone who was going to be God's chosen king. For example, David had to fight off bears, lions, and even a giant named Goliath. He had to take care of King Saul for many years, carrying his armor and even fighting his battles. Not to mention, there were long periods of time when David had to run and hide from King Saul because the king wanted David dead. David waited and waited, and finally, when King Saul died, it was David's time to become king, just as God said he would. There were a lot of crazy things that happened to David that didn't make sense, knowing he was going to be the king and all. But David kept trusting that God would make him king because he said he would. We will face difficult situations in life, just like David, but we can believe He will be with us and that what God says is true because a heart after God is trusting.